Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So, today the topic which we are going to talk about is Chapter 1 Data Representation Uses of Hexadecimal. So, there are different uses of hexadecimal which we are going to discuss today. Okay. For example, we can use hexadecimal in order to represent error codes, in order to represent MAC addresses, IPv6 IP addresses. That is the next thing. MAC addresses can be represented using hexadecimal, and IPv6 addresses can be used in order to, uh, you know, they are represented using hexadecimal. So I'm repeating again, so there would be no confusion that we can use hexadecimal in order to represent error codes, in order to represent MAC addresses, okay, IPv6 addresses, that is internet protocol addresses. Okay, so do not mix it with MAC address. MAC address is different, IPv6 addresses are different. Okay, and we can make use of hexadecimal in order to represent HTML color codes. Okay, so when we talk about error codes specifically, so error codes are often shown using hexadecimal values. Okay, and these number refers to the memory location of the error. Okay, and are usually automatically generated by the computer automatically generates the error code using hexadecimal. Okay, I can show you an example. So if you can see over here, there are some error codes, hexa error codes. These are automatically generated by the computers, and they are easy to represent and easy to understand for the developers and sometimes for the end users as well. Okay. Second thing, as I've told you, MAC addresses. MAC addresses are media access control addresses. Okay, which is the NIC generated, or we can say that when you are going to use a hardware that is NIC, it automatically generates MAC address. Okay, so when we talk about MAC address, it refers to the number which uniquely identifies a device on a network. Okay, so the MAC address refers to the network interface card. What is going to be used when you are going to install network interface card, that is NIC? It automatically generates a unique code which is called as MAC address. Okay, and the MAC address is rarely changed so that a particular device can always be identified no matter where it is. For example, when you go to the settings of your mobile phone, your laptops, okay, and in the network settings, you will find your MAC address of the device. And it is very rare that your MAC address might be faulty and you need to change it. When you are going to change it, then it is going to change, otherwise, it is not going to be changed. Okay. So this unique MAC address is going to be generated using hexadecimal. So MAC address is usually made up of 48 bits, okay, which is shown in 6 groups. These points are very important when you are going to learn it. Okay, it becomes easier for you if you jot it down like this as bullet points. Okay, and 6 groups of two hexadecimal digits. Okay, okay. For example, NN. This is first, then NN, then NN, then DD, then DD, then DD. Can you see? Two hexadecimals and altogether 6 groups. One, two, three, four, five, six. Okay. First three digits, or the first half of it, is going to represent the number for the manufacturer. Okay, this will identify the manufacturer of the device. For example, iPhone has a different manufacturer, that is Apple. Okay, if your device is of Samsung, it has a different manufacturer. So manufacturer can be identified with the first half of this number, and the second half tells you about the serial number of that device, and both of them together make it a unique number. Okay, so for example, hexa will be used in order to represent it: 00, 1C, B3, 4F, 25, and FE. Okay, if you can see, it only contain numbers from 0 to 15. That is, 15 means F, 14 means E. Okay, nothing more than that. Then we have another use of hexadecimal, that is Internet Protocol. And the version of Internet Protocol which is going to be represented through hexadecimal is IPv6. We have older version, that is IPv4, but right now we are only going to discuss about IPv6 because IPv6 is represented using hexadecimal. So Internet Protocol, each device which is connected on a network is going to give in an address which is known as Internet Protocol. Okay, and when we talk about the versions of it, okay, IPv4, okay, this is an older version. It is going to be represented through 32 bits, and we have an advanced version, that is IPv6, because IPv4 has been exhausted. Okay, and IPv4 uses binary numbers in order to represent. Okay, and it is going to be separated using dot. For example, 109 dot 108 dot 158.1. Can you see? They are separated using dots. But when we talk about IPv6, IPv6 is the latest version, which uses 128-bit addressing. Okay, and it uses hexadecimal, obviously, and it is going to be separated using colons. For example, we have, it uses hexadecimal and it is separated using colons. For example, A8 FB colon 7A88 colon FFF0 colon 0FFF. Then we have 3D21 2085 66FB and F0FA. Okay, so that is how we represent IPv6 IP address using hexadecimal. Now we are going to talk about the last use of hexadecimal, that is HTML color code. HTML is a language which is used to design websites, hypertext markup language. Okay. And in order to represent colors, for example, background color, for example, colors which are going to represent anything on your website, is going to represent using hexadecimal. For example, FF0000 represent red color, 00FF00 represent green color, and 00FFFF is going to represent blue color. If you are going to, mix these combinations, for example, okay, always remember hash is used in order to represent hexacode. Okay, if I'm going to mix up two colors, for example, FF00FF. Okay, what I have mixed over here, I have mixed green and red. Okay, So this is going to give you a new color, acacia, right? In this way, whenever you are going to combine these codes, you can get the range of other colors as well. So I hope all the uses of the hexadecimal are clear to all of you.